a really good metaphor for you for the creative process. I went on a river trip this summer, and we went to the Salmon River in Idaho and floated down it for 5 days, 6 days. And during the day, we would be on these rafts, and then we would go through some rapids and like all the things. And we had these guides that helped us. It was amazing. And then we'd camp along the river. And it was really lovely to just be in nature. We didn't have any internet service or cell service. It was just us and nature in this most beautiful place. And I spent a lot of time just sort of staring at the water. And it was late in the season, and so the water level was low. And so there was rocks all around, and that they would create the rapids. But when the water was more calm, you would still see these like little swirls of water. And I was so fascinated by what was happening. And I'm one of those people who are constantly trying to figure out how things work. And so I just could not survive until I figured out exactly how this river worked and how these little swirlies were happening and all the things. I asked a lot of questions of the guide. So basically what would happen is that, the water's going down the river, and then it would hit, like there would be a rock, either you could see the rock or the rock would be under the surface of the water, and the water would hit the rock, and it wouldn't stop the water completely. The water still had to keep flowing. So the water would go around the rock, and then it would create like a vacuum. Like here's the rock, the water's going around, and then on the other side of the rock, there was no water flowing. And so then the water would be pulled back into the rock. And so they would create these little, I think they might be called eddies. And I was thinking about this recently, and I was like, that's really how the creative process works. I think it's really important to learn how to follow your creative intuition and see where it leads you. But when that happens, you don't know exactly where you're going to go. Like we were going down the river. We knew there was a destination. Like the guides knew where we were going to camp each night, and we had an exit point where we were going to get out of the river. But sometimes the water comes back. And so we hit a barrier in the creative process, an emotion that we don't want to feel, a place where we get stuck. Something happens in our life. The whole United States is in chaos like it is now. And so like we kind of get sucked back in, and the water gets sucked back in. But we just have to learn to trust the flow and know that we will get to the destination, but it does take you to some unexpected places. So when you hit a creative block, you can imagine yourself as the river hitting that boulder. The river doesn't stop flowing. It just finds new paths around. So sometimes what feels like being stuck is just your creativity finding a new way around, and you have to learn how to trust that flow, that you can't fight the river. The river of your creativity is so much stronger and more powerful than your resistance. And so learning to trust it and learning to flow with it and learning to honor its power, that's what will get you the results that you want to get as a creative.